Our opponent previews continue for the Indiana State football program. Homecoming this year will be Missouri State. It always seems like Missouri State sometimes comes in on the homecoming game. It will be October 13th. It will be a 2 o'clock kickoff start in the afternoon here in Terre Haute to talk about the Bears and the season they're going to have heading into fall camp. It's the voice of the Missouri State Bears, Art Hains. Art, it's always great to catch up with you. We were just kind of joking before you came on. I know you're pretty busy with baseball going into the summer, but I hope you've enjoyed your time off and now ready to talk some Bears football.
Really have. We're getting ready to take a week off next week, and then when we return, I work with the Kansas City Chiefs also, and they will have an exhibition game that Thursday night, and then 3 weeks after that, the Bears will open their football season.
When you look at the main storylines for this Missouri State football program heading into this year, for Coach Steckel, it's going to be year number 4. What do you believe are some of those main topics that are going to be of discussion when the team convenes and gets to Springfield and starts working on fall camp?
Well, the defense has got to be better, and it was last year, but we're speaking incrementally. I mean, going back to year one, they were teaching entirely different defensive concepts to those in the past, and just gave up a ton of points and yards, and it's gotten a little bit better each year. But they've still got to continue to improve there, and the majority of the defense does return. And they've also bolstered the team with some junior college transfers on both sides of the ball. Dave Steckel, when he came here from Mizzou, where he'd been the defensive coordinator and very successful and popular, insisted for his first couple of years that they were going to build with 4- and 5-year high school players and not go the JUCO route. But reality has set in, and they've got 8 JUCOs now, and the majority of them are on the offensive and defensive lines, where Steck has also come to the realization that's where the games are won and lost at this level. So he's got really 4 returning senior starters on the offensive line, but has brought in 3 JUCOs to compete with them. And then, as we say, some others on the defensive line as well, where they play a 4-3. And so we'll see how those JUCO transfers mix in with the returning personnel.
Offensively for this team, I know one of the storylines heading into last year was during spring ball, I think there wasn't even a quarterback on campus, or I know there definitely was in the early stages getting into spring. Then you get the transfer in Peyton Huslig, and we saw the year he had, and we definitely saw what he did against the Sycamores last year in Springfield. What's really the next step in his progression, as well as this offense that will return 6 starters, Art?
Yeah, they got 3 transfer quarterbacks last year, as it turned out, in Huslig and Anthony Munkin, and then a transfer from Rice, J.T. Granato, who came after practice had started in August. And they're all 3 still here, along with a promising redshirt freshman, so they're pretty well stacked at quarterback. Huslig, had some very good moments last year. He just needs to improve his touchdown-to-interception ratio and make a few more plays. There were some plays that were left on the field last year that maybe with another year's experience can be capitalized on. He's just a junior so far this year. I mean, he is a junior this year. Now, one little negative, and maybe a big negative, is there were 2 excellent senior wide receivers that are obviously no longer here. Malik Earl, who got a tryout with the Cowboys, and Deion Holloman, who was 2-time all-conference kick returner. So they're going to have to kind of reload at the wide receiver positions to give Huslig some people to whom to throw. Lorenzo Thomas is probably going to be the guy that emerges there. He's a long 6'5", was a true freshman last year, and he'll probably be the featured receiver, but they need to build that group of the team back up.
Of course, the year is going to get off with a bang for the Bears, starting on the road against Oklahoma State on that Thursday night there in late August. We'll be opening up against Quincy here at Memorial Stadium. This is always a very difficult question. I don't think it's a fair question to answer or even ask, for that matter, this early before fall camp. But Art, you've been around. You've seen so many Missouri State football seasons. In all, what do you think ultimately should be the expectations for this team this fall?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you realistically, and then what needs to happen. They need to win probably at least 5 games, maybe 6. And as you know, Luke, it's kind of, and this is the truth in just about every conference, you kind of have tiers of the league, and Missouri State has been with the Sycamores and SIU at the bottom here in recent years. And South Dakota has escaped that, and they've kind of bubbled up, and they've got a lot of people coming back, and they made the playoffs last year. So it is possible to jump out of your level there, if you will. But the last 2 years, the Bears have beaten Indiana State and Southern Illinois. They need to keep doing that. And then you've got your Western Illinois and maybe Illinois States. Northern Arizona is going to be an interesting opponent. They come in here for the third week of the season. They were 7-5 last year out of the Big Sky. They played 2 Valley teams last year, won 1, lost 1. So you got them, you've got Western, you got Illinois State. Those are all home games. And for Missouri State to kind of jump up maybe to the top of the middle division, they're going to need to win those games. They've got a Division II game against Lincoln University, kind of similar to the Sycamores game with Quincy. You do have the Oklahoma State game, which is for the money. So those games that could kind of go either way are going to tell the tale late September, October. They finish the season, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and Northern Iowa. So it's going to be a backloaded schedule from that standpoint. So we'll see how they do in the middle. That'll tell the tale.
And we'll see what happens again. The Bears, they will play Indiana State here in Terre Haute this year. We'll be homecoming Saturday, October 13th. Art Hains has been our guest, the voice of the Missouri State Bears. Art, it is always a pleasure to catch up with you. I'm glad it is football talk yet again, and look forward to having you back with Tent City and all the homecoming festivities here in Terre Haute this fall.
Sounds good. I remember last time we were there on homecoming, and I was dropping my rental car off up Wabash a bit from the stadium, and it was like Mardi Gras. I had to have somebody come in a car and take me a back way to get to the stadium because we couldn't access Wabash at all.
Well, did you know that was just your specific welcome party to Terre Haute?
Yes.
Art.
Yeah, I was very pleased and flattered by that, yes.